The Nazi tattoo from the very beginning should have been a red flag for everybody. But it wasn't. Black people tried to warn everybody. Black women, again, tried to warn everybody. And yet again, Black voices were drowned out by the likes of Crystal Ball, Hassan Piker, Kyle Kulinski, Jennifer Welsh, all of these large political influencers, white. Yeah, they overtalked Black people and Black voices who were trying to tell everybody that that man having a Nazi tattoo is a problem. Then the information came out about all of his posts out there on social media, basically blaming women for being assaulted, racist posts about Black people not tipping, and there were some other things that he said, right? Black women, Black people, again, used our voices to try to warn everybody. Okay, you had the Nazi tattoo, you didn't listen to us. Now they're coming out with all of these problematic posts from his past. They again overtalked us. Jennifer Welsh with the I've Had It podcast, Hassan Piker, y'all's favorite streamer, Kyle Kulinski, another white leftist political influencer, his wife, Crystal Ball. Yeah, they all overtalked us. They didn't care all throughout the primary, right? I brought forth other Democratic candidates that could have been supported that were not Graham Plattner or Janet Mills. There were other candidates that these people could have gotten behind, but no. They continue to use their platforms to push up Graham Plattner, drowned out all of the other candidates, and so now we're stuck with Graham Plattner going against Susan Collins. And then who are the politicians that came out to support Graham Plattner? Ro Khanna, Bernie Sanders, Ruben Gallego, Elizabeth Warren. And there were others. There were others. Organizations, Our Revolution, Working Families came out to support Graham Plattner. In Citizens United, they all came out in support of Graham Plattner, while Black people and Black women specifically are still trying to get these white leftists to listen to us. No, this is a problem. Then this other woman came out talking about how he assaulted her, but she was brushed off because she was connected to the Heritage Foundation. She was connected to the Republicans. So she was quickly shut down by the white leftists. Okay? And now, here we are. After everything that Black people have been screaming, and these large white leftists refused to listen to us. Now this woman comes out and does an interview with Politico. After everything else, the Nazi tattoo, the problematic post, the other woman that came out, now this woman who comes out, now she's believable. And now they're calling for Graham Plattner to step down. Who's left to step up to the plate on the Democratic side? If Graham Plattner steps down, who's going to be the Democratic candidate? All of the other ones, they've gone on. People are trying to encourage Janet Mills to unsuspend her campaign. I don't know if it's doable at this point, but yeah. Had these arrogant, entitled, self-absorbed, racist, white leftists who claim that they are fighting for everybody but listen to no one, had they listened to black men and women back during the primary, we wouldn't be here.
He was heavily intoxicated, had intentions with me, and wasn't listening when I said no. And
you were saying, no, don't, over and over.
I remember, obviously I've had to recall a lot of this. This is something that I tried for many years to forget. And so small details, might get past me. But yes, I remember very specifically saying, I'm not into this. I remember that the most. So saying that the most firmly. I remember specifically him grabbing at my chest, and I hit his hand and I said, don't touch me. And I remember that during the altercation.
And then he kept going.
Yeah.
I know that you have been very reluctant to tell this story. Very reluctant.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised you're here.
Thrown up 3 times today.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Why did you ultimately decide to do it? Why come forward?
A few reasons. One of the biggest ones is that I think that there are a lot of men in this world relying on the silence of women.
I wanted to directly address the troubling, serious, and false allegations against me. Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false.
Had Kyle Kulinski over there on Secular Talk, Jennifer Welsh over there on I've Had It podcast, Crystal Ball, Hassan Piker, had they listened to the voices of black people, we wouldn't be here. Had Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Ro Khanna, Ruben Gallego, and all the rest of them, had they listened to the voices of black people, we would not be here. Organizations like Our Revolution, Working Families, End Citizens United, had they taken a step back and listened to the voices of black men and women back during the primary, we wouldn't be here. Now, somebody tell me, if Graham Plattner drops out of the race, where does that leave Democrats? I'm just asking. Oh, before I head out, I almost forgot. We have to include Emma Vigeland. Yeah, Emma Vigeland from the Majority Report with Sam Cedar. Yeah, add her to the list with Crystal Ball and Hassan Piker and Kyle Kulinski and Jennifer Welsh. Add Emma Vigeland to the list. Emma Vigeland, who put this post out after the New York Times did an expose on Graham Plattner and his other accuser. This is what she said. So unless there's something else coming, the big New York Times expose is that Plattner was a bad boyfriend to some women, but also a good boyfriend to other women. Yeah, because the other woman was a Republican, they threw that story away. But now Emma Vigeland is saying this.
Hey, everybody. I just wanted to jump on here to address the serious, credible allegations against Graham Plattner. This story is devastating. I believe the victim here. I think that Graham should drop out of the race. He has betrayed many, many supporters by not being forthright about this. I would include myself in that. I believed his campaign when they said that there was nothing new coming out, and it looks like an awful, awful accusation, an incredible one has come out. Now, this movement has never been about one individual. Any candidate that takes up the mantle here should share Graham's belief or the campaign's belief in ending complicity in the genocide in Gaza, Medicare for all, taxing billionaires, and more. But obviously, this is a devastating development, and we'll be talking about it more on the Majority Report tomorrow.
Yep. The Nazi tattoo was not a devastating development for them. The racist posts about black people, that wasn't a devastating development for these white leftists. Yeah. The identity, they don't want to listen to identity politics, but all of that identified Graham Plattner for who he truly was. But yeah, we don't want to operate in identity politics. When they say that, they mean they don't want to focus on black people's issues. That's what they mean. And so that's why they drown out black voices. And when you drown out black voices and you don't include black people in the movement, this is what you get. So I ask again, if Graham Plattner drops out of the race, where does that leave Democrats? Because way back in the primary, there were other people in the race who had the same politics as Graham Plattner. All right, that's all I got.